Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to Smirking Gun. This is Rob. I am here to do my reaction and review for Captain America Civil War. Hang on, let's get this going over here. There's a little bit of a glare. Up here, I put an actual image from the real Civil War. Mainly because the last time I put an image of Captain America up there and did a really positive review about what Marvel's doing right, I still got slapped with copyright infringement. They didn't take the video down, but I wasn't allowed to share it. So if you go onto my site, you can still, Smirking Gun, you can still find the video, I just couldn't share it. So I just decided to put an actual image of the real Civil War up here. Hopefully, there's not some great somebody that's going to get offended by that or want to slap copyright infringement on that for me. So anyway, to get things, let's get past that. Captain America Civil War should just be called Avengers Part 3. Because it's pretty much what it is. It's the Batman versus Superman movie we deserved. And it's fucking awesome. It is so good. It is just unbelievable what Marvel keeps doing. And like I said, going back to that one video, what Marvel's doing right. And this is just another example of that. And it's also showing that, like I said, who would have thought that Captain America was going to be the series that really brings the MCU together? I never would have thought it, but that's what happened. And the Russo brothers knock it out of the park again. They jam a whole bunch of things in a movie that couldn't work in the recent DC movie and made everything work. Anything that's wrong in this movie is just nitpicks. I'm not going to do I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, by the way. It's just... but anything that's wrong with this movie is a nitpick. I'm not going to nitpick. I'm not going to talk about really negative things in this movie because there's so few that it doesn't matter. I'm just going to hit on all the things that I reacted to that were just great. I mean, I started with a smile on my face, but then I got really introspective and I was like, man, this is serious. Like, I can see the different sides. I'm still Team Cap all the way. By the end of the movie, I'm still Team Cap. But you can see why certain things are thought of, why certain people react the way they do. Maybe they're, I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. does a really good job. But, like the Civil War comic, you got the guy that's called Captain America deciding not to work with the government. And the guy, the ultimate, who Robert Downey Jr. is a playboy, bad boy, does things his own way, is deciding to side with the government because he gets emotionally distraught about the things that have been happening. He comes from a more emotional side instead of thinking. The guy who thinks all the time, uses his brain all the time, is kind of getting a little sloppy to me in his emotions. While Cap just toes the line, he does what he knows what is right, or what he believes is right. So the things I'm going to hit on are just the things that I really liked. And there's so much to talk about. I mean, the first thing, if you want to talk about Cap's idealism, it gets solidified when he goes to Peggy Carter's funeral, which was sad. I mean, you knew it was going to happen. I didn't know they were going to put it in here, though. All of a sudden, he gets the text, he goes, and he finds out that Sharon Carter, the girl that he likes, is Peggy's, niece. And the speech that she gives about what Peggy says about, you can bend when you have to, compromise when you can. But if you have an ideal that you believe is right, that you don't become like a tree, plant yourself, do not move. Somebody tells you to move, you tell them to move. And it just solidifies the way Cap's ideals. Like, when he hears that, you can just see on his face, he's not going to budge. And I believe rightfully so. Because the whole, when the government tells them that, they're going to have to start, basically taking the jobs that they want, what happens if there's something going on that they need to get to, but the government won't let them? And what happens if they end up doing something for the bad guys? It never really made sense to me, Iron Man's side of this. The emotional part about the collateral damage, I mean, they talk about that, they deal with it, it's a real thing, and it's important, but Cap's, at the end of the day, a soldier, and he understands, war more than Tony. And, people that when they start choosing sides, like Vision, he breaks it down into how a computer would, an AI would. So of course he's going to side with Iron Man because the data suggests, and his speech was good. He sides with Tony, and like when Black Widow flipped sides, that was a little weird, But I knew that Sam wasn't gonna, even though on the posters you can tell whose side everybody's on. That Clint's gonna show up. Ant-Man's gonna show up. Scarlet Witch's gonna show up. And when they develop everything so right, all the threads go somewhere. Everything, nothing is pointless in this movie. Not even Spider-Man, who you could say maybe they, some people might feel like he was shoehorned in or whatever. He wasn't. It was integral. It was. So let's really, okay. So I'm Team Cap, so I'm not going to explain myself anymore about that. The introduction of Black Panther, awesome. You don't need an origin story. They probably will touch on some origin parts in his movie, but they don't have to spend the whole movie on it now. And they don't have to spend a whole origin movie on Spider-Man now. But Black Panther, great character. The vibranium suit, the actor was great. Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man to me that's ever been on screen, because Spider-Man's supposed to be a dork. He's supposed to be a high school kid. He's supposed to be a dweeby high school kid. And, even though Tom Holland's like an adorable little kid, that's kind of what, we need a young Peter Parker who can still quip at the best of him and be like in awe of all the superheroes that he's fighting and still be in awe of them. So I thought he was great. Ant-Man. Man, he steals the show. I mean, when he, gets all huge all of a sudden and grabs like Rhodey and he's all whoa, and he's like almost like he's like doing that, but I can almost he almost wants to start laughing. When they shoot him with on the arrow, like, hey arrow guy, and shoots him and gets in the Iron Man suit. Like, who didn't see that coming a mile away? But I didn't care. It was still awesome. Who's talking? It's your conscience. I know we haven't talked in a while. I mean, that fight scene, I mean, it all worked out. Everything, just, you could follow it, and it was epic. And it was like a comic book fight, like in Civil War when they cut to frame the people fighting. That's what it felt like. It was amazing, and Winter Soldier, like, even though, I mean, he's a tragic character because he's just been frozen and let out to kill, put back in the freezer until they want somebody else killed, and they just keep messing with his head, and he remembers everything, and it's not his fault, and everybody blaming him, and Cap figuring out the conspiracy that, he didn't do it, and nobody wants to, they don't really want to hear it, and then when you find out that Bucky, not Bucky, but the Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark and his wife, and they show that video, and you find out Zemo, the bad guy in this movie, had just really been trying to manipulate things so that they would tear each other apart from the inside, was great. I liked that he wasn't an over-the-top villain. I liked that he was a guy, and damaged, and he took his time and patience to develop this plan and set everybody up and set everything in motion, and then just walk away and let them beat the shit out of each other. That's another thing. The action in this movie is like the best action they've ever done in any of their movies. It's so intense. It feels you feel every punch. It's an adrenaline rush. I mean, this is the movie that we deserved a couple of months ago from another studio. I'm not going to say anymore. But, I mean, when this comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to pre-order this, as soon as I can. All the other stuff, the explosions and just everything just weaved together, and you believed the characters. They had all this jammed in there, and they still gave their characters tons of depth and tons of heart, and there's so much humor, and the fact that the Russo brothers were able to pull this off is just insane. I mean, I only have a certain amount of time on here to talk, but it's I could talk about this if I really wanted to break it down inch by inch. It's just so amazing. I mean, when they brought back General Ross, from the Incredible Hulk movie to be the liaison to these guys, it was just he's still here, And this is the best, Chris Evans, Winter Soldier in this is going to be a really hard toss-up between which one is better for me. It's really hard to pinpoint. The Winter Soldier was a great political thriller, and this is just, it's kind of a continuation of that with a with a all-out superhero brawl. Um, I could keep going, but I think I better stop. There's all I know is that if you haven't seen it already, and I'm sorry I didn't say spoilers earlier, but if you haven't seen this already, sorry I spoiled it all for you. If you have seen it, go see it again. I plan on doing it. There's a great theater in Gurnee. It has these 4DX seats that we're going to try out to see this movie. I just found out about 4DX. But, I'm going to try to see it on that and get a really crazy experience out of it. So, yeah, Captain America Civil War, or watch Ken Burns' Civil War, like this. And please like and subscribe. Again, this is Rob from Smirking Gun. Go see Captain America Civil War. You're not going to regret it. And that's it. I'll see you next time on another video.